everybody. We'll start our meeting today, Friday the 25th of October, with our opening prayer. Ko te paurarama, ko te whakairo, ko te tangata, ko o te aroha te pau e hiri nei a tātou, mauri ora ki a tātou, haumi e, hui e, yes. Kia ora everybody. Welcome to those people who are online and to people in the room and to our elected members and staff. Welcome to our meeting this morning. Just a couple of community events that have happened in the Kaikohe-Hokianga ward over the past few weeks. One, the celebration for Piriwiri Tour Brass Band recently. That was a great event, and my sincere apologies for missing that date to the band. I had intended to attend that but couldn't. More recently, we had our Kaikohe Rugby Football Club Sports Club event over the weekend held in Kaikohe, and just honouring two champions in our community, Cheryl Waka and Hurricane Haynes, David Haynes, who received their life membership to the Kaikohe Rugby Club. We have Labour Weekend coming up, with the Christopher Harris Cup happening in Kohu that I'm aware of, and the Piri Mokena sports event in Kaiō, and lots of travelling and to and from for people. So hope everybody has a great weekend and the weather is kind to us. I don't think there are any other events that I need to mention, but just have a great Labour weekend. Tanya has just passed me a note around the Te Whare Pūtaiao, the House of Science Festival that was held in Raoni last week. That was a great success, and thank you to all those involved bringing that event to Raoni for lots of schools. Actually, finally, was the regional kapahaka event also that happened in Papahawaiki last weekend. Lots and lots of people around our town. Which was great. Okay, moving to next item on our agenda, apologies, conflict of interest. Do we have any apologies of conflict of interest? No? Okay. Moving to public forum. In public forum today we have the lovely Linda Bracken from the Kaikohe Business Association. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Jackie. Really loved the kapahaka group last weekend, highlighting our wonderful facility here. So for you in Hokianga, next year we'll be out in Hokianga, so looking forward to it. But wonderful from a business perspective, seeing people coming into town and celebrating. So those two events over the past weekend were really, really special. Coming up in a year's time, we'll have the 100-year celebration of the bowling club. So for having clubs survive 100 years, it's pretty special for a town. So they're starting to work on how that's going to roll out. They normally have a competition first week in November to celebrate that. Just acknowledging as well requests for service. So with the graffiti and that in town and the work being done on that, the requests for service, the last ones I've put in have been responded to within a week, which is really nice to see. The graffiti guys are still somehow purchasing spray cans, but one of them has gone to actual paint, so I'm thinking they're running out of money. One of the requests I've got is for the Memorial Skate Park, and the feedback I've got is that will be a bigger project, so it won't be just done within a week. They have to coordinate and look at that. So I'll keep tabs on what's happening in that space as well for you. Kaikohe Business Association, so it's coming up to Christmas parade. It's on November the 19th on Friday afternoon. Business Association is planning a breakfast that morning, but in the meantime we are endeavouring to create a bit more of a Christmas atmosphere in the main street. So we're applying elsewhere for funding to get some flags to go up representing Christmas. I'm not sure if the parade will be going down Broadway, but just a little bit there. And we've engaged with the arts council to look at some assistance with the shop decorations for Christmas lights and that. So just progressing a bit in that one. One of my concerns I bring to your table, you're probably all aware of it, is when you look at business and you look at the uniqueness of Kaikohe and the history of Kaikohe. Pioneer Village, we're getting down to very, very few volunteers in that area, and it's needing a lot of input to keep it maintained. So one of our real special events was creating a safe environment for kids on Halloween. Insufficient volunteers to run it, as well as the fact that we had done a little bit of maintenance and work on a couple of the historic buildings. So it's open again, but how long we can function is a concern for me. It's the main business, which also hosts a cycle trail. So I see investing into that place is of utmost importance, but I don't know how to, whether we actually bring it to a community awareness type thing. Just one of my concerns there. Apart from that, weather's up. We're getting reports on things happening. So your fast track events funding that's coming through for Lake O'Marbury for, there were 3 of them. Wastewater. Time's up, so we'll leave it like that. Any questions?
I do. A fair while ago, there was some graffiti on the brand new toilets on Lindbergh Park on the door, blue spray can. Is that still there?
I didn't see them. I hope somebody else do it.
Yeah, I did report it into council, but I know 2 months later that was still, the graffiti was still there. I just didn't check it on the way in this morning.
Yep.
But I would have. I know it's not your you wouldn't touch it, but I mean, I think council.
But I did drive by and have a check. I did take out the graffiti on the Lindbergh sign before the weekend. So there was a little bit on the Welcome to Lindbergh Park right on the corner across from East School. I'm encouraging people on council properties to actually put in a request for services. So I know sort of the library have put in one.
And generally, how quick is the council to respond to those?
You've got a new contract, and that's where I'm going. My track within the last month with the new contractor is I'm happy with it.
Oh, okay.
Where prior to that, even getting a phone call saying, yes, we've accepted that, it's been passed on to this division, was very, very slow.
Okay.
So I'm just highlighting that the new contract is, at this moment, whether it's a trial period, but it's looking a lot better.
Excellent. Councillor Kappa.
Through you, look, yesterday I was part of the Fairbanks Final Law Community Board, and at that point, sitting here for contractors presented to that board. I just wanted whether throughout staff that presentation is going to be made available to.
Aye.
Just I'll leave it there. Because from what I heard there, it was they appear to have things in hand, and they had the head of city care operations manager and also the admin person who I believe is from this area that addressed all the RFS. And what they described was pretty good. I heard. I'll leave it there. Thanks.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you, Linda, and it's awesome to hear that there will be a Christmas parade.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be an application for road closure made?
The actual Christmas parade is soon, organising that. We're just doing the flags and the lighting, but we are faced with, in order to put the flags up, there's road closure required. Top Energy has said they'll assist by putting them up and taking them down for us, but I think they quoted 4,000 for road closure for that period. So we'll see how we go with that funding initially, because I'm not sure what we'll need for that parade itself.
So who's the contact person at Thune? Is that Jay?
I'd go to Jay, yeah. So I was checking to see if they'd put in a submission already.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you very much.
You can always put the flags up at night.
Sorry?
You can always put the flags up at night and avoid the road closures altogether.
Well, we suggested that, but we might be, accosted by some of the local kids that are doing the breaking the
They'll
windows.
climb up and help you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're used to climbing walls at night, so.
Definitely, as it seems an excessive cost for
Yeah.
flag.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Linda.
you very much, and I'll head off. Have a wonderful long weekend.
Thank you, you too. Okay, we have no one for public forum. Do we have any deputations? No speakers. We'll move to. Oh, we do. Therese, where's Therese? We do. We do too. Therese Whitbom, representing Bald Angels Charitable Trust, is online in regard to agenda item 7.3 on page 70. Kia ora, Therese, you've got 5 minutes, and after that time, if we've got any questions, we will ask them of you. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou katoa. Thank you for hearing me this morning on behalf of Ngā Anahera Pākara Bald Angels Charitable Trust. I'm really sorry I couldn't attend in person this morning. After all, I was looking forward to being there in person. Not just because I wanted to see you all, but because I'm also a lip read. So it's a little hard to lip read when you're actually a long way away from me. So forgive me if at question time I have a little bit of trouble hearing. We might just need to be a bit patient with me there. Bald Angels Charitable Trust, our vision is together we can make a difference and all tamariki thrive. Now we know that's not the case here. We know poverty is real here, and we know the knock-on effects are layers of trauma leading to generational burdens on our communities. And although food and gifts on their own don't fix the problem, the fee and support provided by the agencies that we work with who deliver these gifts and kai helps lift people up, provide comfort, relieve stress and potentially reduce harm at a time of year that often increases stress. About 400 whānau and over 1,200 tamariki across Te Tātaukaro are identified by 23 angel partners for Angel Christmas services. These partners are Police Plunket, Women's Refuge, iwi, social services, health and education providers. They register the whānau that they've been working with who they believe are most in need and deserving of the support. In the Kaikohe-Hokianga ward, we work with 7 social service partners for Christmas, for the Christmas project. Last Christmas, we supported 167 local whānau and 575 of their tamariki with kai boxes and gifts. And we plan to service similar numbers this year. We don't have all of the whānau registrations in yet, so I can't give you exacts. The Bald Angels model of care is designed as a hand up, not a handout. We've developed those trusting relationships with those partners I mentioned over 12 years, and we're assured that all whānau receive wraparound support. So it's not just about giving kai boxes and walking away. There's care attached to that. We want to see these whānau doing better. We want to see them lifted up. We want to see them empowered. This is a social investment that reduces further cost to our community. And the more we connect and support with our vulnerable tamariki, the more chance they have to thrive. Bringing communities together and encouraging whānau to take the hands of those resourced to provide support and guidance. And actually just showing up without notice to say, we see you and we value you. That matters. And that's feedback we've had from those partners who do show up unexpected with kai boxes. We've had reports from police saying relationships are strengthened and harm is likely avoided. That's something we can't measure, obviously, but that's a massive impact if we're avoiding harm by police showing up at an at-risk home and saying, here we are, we've got something to support you. And let's talk about some of the risks coming up around this season. Plunket have reported families who finally welcome them in, only because they turn up with kai and gifts, and then they're able to identify and address need. Social workers report profound relief and gratitude and witness whānau able to experience joy and connection due to the gifts of kai. Each year we have over 100 volunteers all working together to make a difference for tamariki across our rohe. It is pretty special and it's a testament to the community spirit in the far north. Now the pūtea. We received earlier this year a donation of mints valued at $19,000, which is currently in cool storage. Still, our kai shopping budget for 2024 is just under $50,000. In spite of recent funder responses, which have been on the most disappointing this year, across the board actually, our board has approved proceeding with a target of 400 whānau again, because how can we not? We've just last week raised our own Angel community fundraising target to $32,000, which is a significant amount to find between now and December. On top of that, we're requesting $2,500 from Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board. Approximately 575 of our local tamariki will have a better chance of thriving with your support. I was questioned yesterday about why we would apply for more from the from the Bay of Islands Whangaroa board than from the Kaikohe-Hokianga board, given quite a big difference in the numbers of whānau that we are supporting, and it's a really valid question. However, this is what we have applied for, and we would be grateful for any support that we can get. It's going to make a difference. That's it. Would anyone like to ask questions? Sorry, I've just lost. So the question is why we would ask for different amounts from, I've lost visuals of you all, which is a bit of a problem. Hold on a minute, let me try and get you back.
I've got your hand up, John.
The question is why we'd ask for different amounts from across the wards, and it's a valid question. The reason that we've asked for what we've asked for is because that was the advice given. I was planning on asking for 5,000 from each of the wards. So I've just gone with the advice given.
Councillor Vusic has a question online. Councillor Vusic.
Question online. Shall I? Oh, there you go. Yep. You're muted.
How about that? What I've just sent that as a message as well. So just thank you what you're doing there, Bald Angels. I really do appreciate that. But there's also an initiative in Kaikohe from Rewa Te Kahu, Kaikohe Baptist, which sends out Christmas parcels, and he may be able to help assist as well. Contact me for his details.
Okay, I will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vusic. Any further questions for Therese? No, thank you, Therese. Thank you for the mahi that you're doing to help our whānau across Te Tai Tūtero.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time and the mahi that you all do. So thank you, and I'll look forward to hearing some feedback shortly. And John, I will get in touch with you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Therese. Okay, moving through our agenda, we have Becca. No, we don't. Okay. So moving to 6.1 on page 8, confirmation of previous minutes, page 8. Recommendation. The recommendation is that Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board confirms the minutes of the 20th September 2024 as a true and correct record. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. Member Edmonds, any discussion? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? No, that is carried. Moving to page 17, reports. 7.1, initiation of public consultation on the granting of a ground lease over 1 Recreation Road, Kaikohe, commonly known as Sportsville. And we have the report writer online, Michelle. So the recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board recommend to Council A that the public consultation process is commenced on the granting of a new ground lease to Kaikohe Districts and Sportsville Incorporated over approximately that many square metres of land, being Lot 31, DP 145 and 7,067.5 square metres of land being part Lot 3, DP 22327, vested in Whānau District Council as Recreation Reserve located at 1 Recreation Road, Kaikohe. The terms of the proposed lease shall be 30 years, 10 plus 10 plus 10, allowed for under the Reserves Act 1977, rental $121 plus GIST for 2024-25, and reviewed annually in conjunction with the FNDC fees and charges schedule. B is appointed to hear any submissions received in response to the consultation process and to make recommendations to the Council. Thank you. Member McVeigh has moved that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. Member Felia. Any discussion or questions?
Member Evans. Michelle, can you describe the consultation process, please?
Question.
Through the chair, yes, I can. So what happens is we, so through the Reserves Act, we have to do public notice. So we'll be putting it in a newspaper article. And then we also carry out public consultation, which will go on our website, which allows members of the public to voice their opinion, whether they're for it or against it. We've also informed iwi and hapu, and they will be informed once again once consultation commences. After that, all information gathered in the consultation process is reviewed. We can then find out if anyone wants to come and talk to you and present their thoughts, and then the report is then presented back to you whether you want to go ahead with recommending to Council on the granting of the lease or not.
Okay, no, I'm just concerned that the phrase consultation process sounds expensive, but the Reserves Act simply requires public notice.
Yeah, the cost roughly is anywhere between I think roughly between $400 and $500, depending on the amount of wording that goes into a newspaper. The actual cost of carrying that out is staff time. So staff time to put out the website, to do the engagement plan, and to get the information and collate it.
Okay, so again, the phrase consultation process is not in the Reserves Act. Okay, and for an engagement plan and all of that, when all is required by the Reserves Act is public notice, I can't understand why we're doing any more. This seems a slam dunk. They've got a $17 million building on the reserve. We're not going to give them a lease. So all we're doing is posting box ticking for the Reserves Act, which is simply a public notice, okay, and then presentation of any submissions to a meeting. And if anybody wants to be heard, they can be heard, which sounds to me to be a very small process. And the report should reflect you've quoted the Act, but the language doesn't reflect the Act.
I agree that it is a lengthy process for a building that is already on site. However, this is a process that we follow for all of our leases so that members of the public can come along and talk about any concerns or support that they want to give. I thoroughly believe that not everyone reads newspaper articles and everything is more seen on websites nowadays. So I don't think everyone reads newspaper articles. So yes, it may be a requirement through the Reserves Act that we only do that, but to gauge public interest and to get their support, this is a process that we follow for all of our leases.
Okay, so this is part of a written process that is so there is a written process that we follow in the council for this kind of thing. I mean, it's a formal process, okay. And finally, the address 1 Recreation Road is incorrect.
Yep, I've notified of that. I found it very hard to find the correct address for this property. Google and Xmap to Pathway gave me different addresses, so if it is incorrect, I can of course rectify that.
Okay, so can I make it? I'll make an amendment right now that the number 1 be replaced with the number 36.
Yep, that's fine.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Just a comment. Well, I absolutely take Member Edmund's point about the use of time of something that that may not be required under the Act. I do appreciate that following the creating a more in-depth consultation process really sets a precedent, because this is what we need to do, and without doing this kind of, at this minimum, at least this kind of process, then you run into problems with other leases. So I do actually appreciate that. While it might seem a given on this particular one, it's very, very important for our leases to have the opportunity for community and hapu iwi to feed in and to bring up issues that may otherwise not come to the attention of council. So kia ora.
Thank you. Councillor Vucic, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. When I saw this item, I did think, given that extensive consultation was done initially for that whole building and the raising of funds and that whole structure that was done, I did wonder why this hadn't been done before, and I was under the assumption that something like this was actually in place. No one put a building on there unless they were guaranteed of a lease, and so I do want to see it tidied up. But I do think with that noting the address, the correct address is important, and maybe the recommendation, could read along that we will, send out public notices via email and via website and via the paper, just so the public does have a chance to respond to it. But extensive consultation has occurred over this whole sports complex and the setting up a sports hall as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vucic. No further questions? We'll put the amended recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? That's carried. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Down to page 65, the memorial plaque at Kaikohe Memorial Park. Laurie Byers. Thank you. Member Edmonds has moved the recommendation.
Already, that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community will approve the installation of the plaque be placed in Memorial Park to learn ride track, subject to completion of the public art and memorial application.
All those in favour? Second. Oh, we haven't got a second down. I'll second that. Any discussion? Any comment? No? Okay, put that to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? No abstentions. That is carried. And we move to funding applications on page 70. We have.
Before you start, can we take them separately, because I've got a conflict of interest on B?
On B. Okay, sure. Yes, we can do that. We'll do them separately. So, first recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approve the sum of something plus just, if applicable, to be paid from the board's community grant fund account to Bald Angels Charitable Trust for the cost towards hosting the Angel Christmas project.
I'll move the recommended amount.
Thank you.
Yeah, I second that.
You second that. So the recommended amount is $3,000. That has been moved. Any discussion around that? I think the presentation was really clear and worthy. I'll put that recommendation of $3,000 to the vote. All those in favour? Any against? No abstentions. Thank you. We'll go to recommendation C and then go back to B. So the recommendation is the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approve the sum, if applicable, to be paid from the placemaking grant fund to Hokianga Bowling Club for the cost of building a safety area.
And I'll second that.
And you see that, any discussion around that?
We've got a lots of approval for funding. When the applications get sent through, all of these applications that come to our board are eligible in terms of time span between last and previous applications. Is that right? Am I seeing that? No, that's all right.
Okay, we have the recommended amount on the table. All those in favour? Against? No abstentions. That is carried. We'll go to recommendation B, and Member Edmonds has declared a conflict of interest. With this recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approve the sum of something to be paid from the board's community grant fund account to Kaikohe-Hokianga Development Trust for the cost of the following youth camp.
Yep, I'm happy to move the full amount.
Move the full amount. I'll thank you, Gunnery. She has seconded that. Do we have any discussion around that? Recommended amount or the application? All those in favour? Aye. Any against? And abstentions? Thank you. Okay, moving on to the summer rural travel funding applications on page 96. And then the recommendation is that we allocate rural travel grant funding in accordance with the recommendations received from Sport Northland as followed. Arwini School $500, Hokianga Sports Club $1,250, Tahiti United J&B $255, under 16 mixed tag $465. I'll move that recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. Yeah. Do you have any discussion or question around that recommendation? No. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Against? And no abstentions. So go here. Okay, I'm moving on to the supplementary agenda on the separate cover sheet on page 122. 7.6. That's the one? The smaller two-pager. And the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board name a new public road, Flagstaff Way, that is currently addressed as at Lot 1, Waiari Road or Kaiko. I'll move that recommendation. Do I have a seconder?
Yep.
Thank you, Member Edmonds. I think, do we have Trinity Lane online? No. Yeah. No questions around that?
That'd be a good road name, wouldn't it?
Pardon me?
That would be a good road name.
Trinity Lane. I think so. I thought it was a joke to start with then. Then realised actually it wasn't. But I had a quick catch up with Trinity last week around that and just ensuring that hapu iwi and community have had involvement in that naming, and that has happened. So happy to.
Through the chair, the Lot 1 Waiari Road was, we didn't receive a response from the hapu iwi for that one.
That's the Boulder Way. Okay, sorry.
We have for the other one, but not this one.
Okay. All right, so it's the next recommendation that's coming up that had the hapu iwi consultation. So this one hasn't had hapu iwi consultation. So I moved it, somebody seconded it. But I think we probably need to leave that lie on the table until we get that communication back from hapu iwi.
It looks like it was done together. So it would be a really weird one for the reply one and not the other.
Through the chair, I believe we did get correspondence at the same time, but they had further questions for the flag staff.
Yes.
Just a comment on that, that doesn't seem to be reflected in this report.
Yeah.
So now that I've heard that, I support leaving it to lie, but it would be good to have that reflected in the information that we get, unless I missed something.
Was Evans. Evans, are you happy to leave that lie on the table? No. Okay, great. Okay, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? And no abstentions. Okay, moving down the lane to 7.7, and this recommendation is the one that has had hapu engagement on, and it's that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board name a new right-of-way, boulder way, that is currently addressed at 60 to 106 Waiaia Road, or Kaikohe. Thank you, Member McVeigh has moved that. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Member Gundry. Any questions around that?
It looks like this was a copy and paste because the dates of the second report aren't referenced anyway, but they appear to be a copy of the first report of dates of contact. So very good display.
I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? No. Okay. Moving back to reports, we have reports on page 105. Recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receive the report funding applications received between, am I right?
Yeah.
Just now, chairperson's report, sorry, it's on page 100. Gosh. That the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board note the October 2024 member report from Chair Chicky Fredkin. Thank you, Member McVeigh.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Vusic. Any questions for me? Comments?
Well done, Chicky.
It's about having sabbatical leave, I believe, but yeah, just so many RFSs, but really good response time. Some responses that I've had come back from community members have expressed their disappointment with what service they've received, so I'll follow up on a couple of those. Thank you. Rocking along. So I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? No. Where are we now? This is down to page 105, along to page 105, funding application information. Recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receive the report funding applications received between July 2020 and June 2024. I have a mover for that. Thank you, Member McVeigh, and a seconder. Thank you, Member Fair. Do you have any questions around that recommendation? So this was just to give us some idea around where the past 4 years funding was going, to give us some idea of the highlights and I guess. And it looks, Catherine's not here to talk about, but she put it together and and I know it's taking some time, but. And I also note that in our funding applications, she started to add things like the last time places applied for funding. So I appreciate that too, just to, because the old memories goes a little bit. And, yeah, just to know.
Can I make a comment on that?
You can.
It was really useful to see the breakdown, and I think quite affirming to see that there's a lot more groups have applied across the range in the last sort of 18 months. So I think that's a good thing to have more people apply across our ward. So kia ora tātou.
Councillor Lusich is looking for his hand, is he?
Just wanted to
Yes.
comment, Chair. You think, I was going to say similar thing, and that is, it's good to see the breakdown that exists there. The only comment, and I think we did raise it in a discussion we had somewhere with the funding when we were in a workshop, that the funding received is how well does it connect with the, in terms of furthering the community plans and the community board's strategy. And I'm just wondering if there could be some connection in there, or did I miss it?
Like an extra column that makes reference to where it comes out, long-term plan type thing you're talking about.
The community plans.
Through the chair, the assessments of the applications do relate back to the community outcomes in the long-term plan, but what they don't do is to relate back to your priorities that you've got in your strategic plan. So it would be probably more actual beneficial to be like, actually, this application aligns to your community outcomes and strategic plan as opposed to the council's necessarily. So I think
It just reminds us of what our priorities are.
Yeah. And as it is, your funding to help you deliver what your outcomes you're hoping to see, it makes sense that that alignment is made.
That would be great.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, thank you. Have we moved and seconded that? We'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? No. All right. Open resolution report on page 120.
I'll move that.
Thank you. Member Edmonds, do I have a seconder for that recommendation that we receive the open resolution report? Thank you. Councillor Lusich, any discussion around that recommendation?
Here, I did receive a response from Robin this morning, and you'll see that her update isn't written on there. I've only just placed it in this morning, but at this stage she is allude to establishment of happy relationship at the site being critical to a good outcome, but contact has been made with Hapu and stakeholders. And
what's that in relation to?
For resolution 2024-73.
What's that? It was about
The reserve management plan.
That mentions the memorial park, and also there's a note under for the Rawani domain. So does that comment cover both of those issues?
That one is only covering, not the note at this stage, it's only covering the memorial park.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Any against? And no abstentions. Thank you. Moving on to our closing prayer.
Chair, before you go any further, just like to, I won't be able to attend any, workshop. No, I just put apologies in for that. I've got another meeting coming up, and that's why I'm remote. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kena koe, John.
Kaya koe te karakia whakamutunga, Councillor Kapa.
Ele he tamata o hui nei I toro mai kia tutuki pai ngā kaupapa I korero hia, I whiriwhiri hia ki te rapu hua o tātou o Wāmere.
Okay, so we have workshops with